Hello. Some short time ago, I was able to let go of a lot of seeming patterns in my life, and my life started to flow in a more organic way. And out of that, many new things and many new relationships came in. And one of those relationships, about 1 year ago, I met Florian Schlosser, and actually hosted him in my home, and we had a lot of talks. And among those talks, we were also able to do some videos, and you might have seen the videos online. We've always put them out as often and as far and wide as possible. And just by having those videos and being able to look at them again and again, my life has gone through so many changes. I mean, we talk about wisdom teaching, and it certainly seems that there really is such a thing, that people can come into your life and really make a change. And so here, 1 year later, I'm with Florian again, and thanks so much for making this possible, Florian. And we're here to do a series of videos, actually, and we're going to call it The Play of Freedom. That's the title of your new book also.
Yes.
Which will be out maybe at the same time that these videos come out.
Yes, hopefully they will.
So the play of freedom is something we all dream of, and many times we think, oh yeah, now I'm free. Because I guess there's the conventional wisdom that says if you have a lot of money, you take a lot of vacations, you have a good car, and maybe a good-looking wife, that must be freedom.
Yes.
And then later, doesn't seem all that free.
So first of all, I'm very happy to be back and to have the opportunity together with you to do these recordings. And I was thinking about these recordings. I was thinking about how to address the play of freedom, which is the title of the new book, and to bring it on videos. Because I know that these days people seem to enjoy videos very much, and it's a nice way to introduce a kind of exploration in addition to reading the book. So I will do my very best together with you, Richard, to invite the people who are watching these DVDs to actually join in exploration. I'm not very much into teaching, but I'm so much more into inviting people to look in their own experience, how things are, feeling what they discover in themselves, and then letting it drop into their bodies. And so my intention is actually to keep it as basic and simple as we possibly can. Because there's so much stuff out there in the market. The whole New Age field, all the religions, the philosophies, all the various teachings, methods, techniques, the entire field of psychology, counseling. I mean, there's so much offer out there that most people, they don't even know where to start. So my love is to keep it really basic, to keep it grounded, so that we all can follow that exploration.
If we really kept it, if we really started something really in the beginning, I mean, we could say that it seems like I'm a person, and that sometimes I'm together with friends, and sometimes I'm alone. And the vehicle for transmitting human togetherness is language. And
yes.
Somehow we know that it feels good when we're talking to someone and they seem to understand them, and they seem to understand us, and
yes.
when we seem to understand them. And it feels frustrating when we don't really understand people.
Exactly, because if I look at the human experience from the very scratch, all we're looking for is to connect. We love that feeling of connection. Because in the moment we feel that the person in front of us or the surrounding we're in somehow is connected to us and we're connected to it or them, there's a feeling of contentment, a feeling of happiness showing up. And it doesn't need much, in the morning when we get up, and we sit down for breakfast or for the coffee together with our partners. And there's a moment of genuine connection. We just look at each other, just a moment of still understanding, looking into each other's eyes, and we recognize, hey, there's someone there who feels me and I can feel them. This moment of, I call it connection, is something that is so fulfilling that mostly we are nourished with it for the whole day. So I was asking myself, if as people started to seek, and there's so many people seeking something that they possibly even don't know what they are seeking for. Some people call it God, some people call it self-realization, others call it peace or freedom. But if I just take away all those labels, what we're actually looking for and what we're mostly enjoying is to be connected, isn't it? We just love the feeling to hang out with someone where we feel a genuine connection, isn't it?
I think that we are really longing for that,
Yes.
and when you said that, I wanted to say right away that connection is really so precious.
Yes.
And that some of us, I would like to add that some of us, and for long periods of our lives, we've denied ourselves of that connection.
Exactly.
In other words, we've actually gone through very sterile periods through the desert where we felt like we're the only one, that nobody understands us.
Exactly.
Many of us have done that, and then later maybe we've opened up, but maybe we were living years and years and years and
Yes.
feel like there's no genuine connection, that nobody really understands me. And the fact that really a connection is always here, and and in a way we're denying ourselves of it.
So let's have a look and to explore what connection is, where connection starts from. I think it's very valuable to start to explore what we're actually dealing with, So we're speaking about life, we're speaking about relationships, we're speaking about the relationship we're having with ourselves, the relationship we have with the world, we're speaking about being in peace. It's all beautifully spoken, but let's just have a fresh look what we are actually dealing with and see if we're exploring this, that we're going to end up inevitably into that sense of connection. And that may be a journey that we just can start now. And over the series of the next 4 or 5 videos that we will produce together, we see if we end up in this sense of oneness, being genuinely connected with oneself and with everything around us. But let's start from scratch.
Yeah, let's not even use that as a premise, because let's
no.
discover that if it's there,
Exactly.
And if we
Exactly.
don't
So
discover that, let's not try to put it on in the
Exactly.
beginning.
Let's start from scratch. And the easiest way to start is with what we're dealing with in this moment. So everybody, you and me, and everybody who's watching those DVDs are now invited to explore in their own experience. So the first thing to be realized, which is very simple and we constantly overlook it, is the fact that we are already here. Just feel this. Just for one instant, still and silently checking the fact that we are already. Here we are, sitting on this chair, on that couch. Here we are. This is it.
Isn't it amazing that something so basic is so often, like you said, overlooked? But
Yes.
It just seems like we say, well, that's of course not important at all.
Yeah.
But it's so basic.
Exactly. In that moment, so the basic is we are already. So now, what includes that here-ness? There's many things that are included in the here and now. So first of all, let's check what the ingredients are that we're approaching, that we are dealing with on an instant basis. So let's check first. Thinking. Is the thinking here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thinking is here. Fantastic.
At first I wanted to start with all the senses.
Yeah, but let's start with the thinking, okay? Because this is what we are mostly look at. The way our attention functions, that we mostly watch the thinking. So let's start. So thinking is here. Fantastic. Then, if we go a little deeper, there are emotions and feelings. Have a look
Right.
if they're also here. If we feel something right now. I'm not asking you to check what you're feeling. We start just becoming aware of the fact that there are feelings happening, that there are just emotional responses to the moment, to the experience of now. Are there feelings here?
Well, absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, feelings seem to mean like things that move relatively fast. But I mean,
Yeah. No, but
there's also like a basic tone to how we feel today. Am I
exactly.
down, or
Exactly.
am I up, or am I
Exactly.
animated, or
Yes.
am I peaceful?
So
Or
thinking is like thoughts you can just really distinguish very easily. It's one thought and then there's a break, another thought, it's one sentence, another. So they have like, you can clearly see the stream of thinking. With the emotions, is they're just functioning more like waves, you know? They're
Right.
moving into each other. It's like they have different amplitudes and the different frequency, and one feeling slowly moves into another, so there are more waves. And so one feeling is not so easily to be distinguished from the next feeling. They're just flowing into each other.
Exactly.
Yet they're here. So there's
Right.
feelings here just as part of the human experience. Okay, it's also here. So now let's go a little deeper. What we also find in this moment is sensations. Sensations in our body. All kinds of sensations. Sensations are a little different than feelings. They are more like very rudimentary, perceivable sensations like warm, cold, dry, wet, tight, relaxed.
Many of those seem to fade in the background unless they're painful. If there's
Yes.
a pain, then that comes to the front.
Ease. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it's just basically sensations that we can feel in our bodies. Can we agree on this?
Right.
So the body is here, and the body has all kinds of sensations. Some of them we're aware of, others we're not aware of. So okay, so we have thinking, we have the feelings, and we have this body with a bunch of sensations on all levels. Okay. So this is here. We're starting. So we're just collecting and taking everything in that is already here. We see if there's anything that is not here. But we're just starting step by step. So thinking is here, feelings are here, the sensations are here. Okay, now let's inquire an interesting thing that people may think is like, okay, well, this is the present moment. What's about the past? Is the past here? Okay, let's check. Where's the past? Where do you find the past now? Where do you find where in this moment, where are we finding the past? Everything that we have went through, that we remember, that has been happening to us, where do we find it right now?
Well, the personal past is all in our memory. Now,
Yes.
we might want to say that there's a past that's in the library or in the...
Okay, let's start with the personal past. With that,
Yeah.
what people call the personal past. So the story that we're having, the story that we went through.
Right. That's our memory.
Exactly.
And then we
In the
might have
memory.
some photos or
Exactly.
something
It's
to
in the memory.
support that,
Okay, so in the memory. So where is the memory? Where does the memory happen right now? If you remember something that you did yesterday, where is it and when is it happening?
Well, when is now, of course. But
Exactly.
where we're not so sure because they tell us it's in our brain or
Okay,
something,
fantastic.
but we're not so sure.
Okay, then make that clear. Number one, even the memory and the remembrance of the past experience is happening now. Somewhere in this circuit, okay, in the brain, in the nervous system, in the way we think, in our thinking, in the feelings, in the sensations that we have when we...
Yeah.
So
I mean, we could say here.
here, exactly.
You
So
know.
also the past is here.
Yeah, the past
So
is
the past
here.
is not over there, the past is here. In
Right.
form of thinking, feelings, sensations. Let's call it memory.
It's basically springs from memory, I believe, and then the thinking can pop out of the memories.
Yes. Anyway, the past is here. The past is in the presence, in our memory, because the memory we remember only now. We cannot remember yesterday. We can the simple act of remembering happens now, isn't it?
Yeah, all verbs happen now, basically.
Exactly. Let's check. So we have the thinking here, we have the feelings here, we have the sensations here, and the past is also here, inside of us as memory, showing up as a multi-sensory happening, thinking, feelings, and sensations. Now check Where's the future now? Some people say, well, okay, the future cannot be here. But where do we find the future now? Where are you finding the future?
Well, we just have ideas about the future. So
And-
the future probably maybe never appears in per se. It's only ideas about it or how it could be.
Exactly.
Because we don't, the past seems like it's more fixed because we remember it was certain one way. Even if I can say our memories are imprecise and they're not perfect.
But when does the idea of the
The
future,
idea of the future is
where
here,
does it, when and where does it happen?
here and now, like
Here and now again.
again, yeah.
We can imagine the future again by our thinking, by having feelings about it. We can even feel it in our sensations when we have a joyful, when we go on vacation or we plan to go on vacation tomorrow. Our body can already feel, oh, that's going to be a relaxed time, and the body opens up. So we're already feeling the future that's possibly happening in our experience now. So also the future we won't find anywhere else but here now, inside of us.
Let's say that a little bit more, like about the past, because somebody might just think like, oh gosh, the past is in the government archives, the past is in the libraries, the past is in the history books.
Yes.
But really, all those things, government archives, history books, everything is here and now, right?
Exactly. So okay, so there's a library in Chicago. There's a library,
Right.
and in that library there are thousands
All
of
the
books.
past, yeah.
The whole past, everything is written down. But in this moment, in your own experience, where do you find the idea of the library plus the knowing that there's a library in Chicago containing all those books? Where do you find it now?
Right, just in my thoughts.
Yes, even the library, including all the books, is a thought in you. It's an image in
Right.
you because you can imagine this now. So the library, including the knowledge, whatever's written in those books, is happening in you right now as you're inside, internally.
Right.
So now,
But even if we go to the library
even though
and then we start opening the books, it's always here and now that
exactly.
we're
Okay,
we're
so-
accepting this.
yes.
So that's
Okay, so again, let's collect. We have the thinking, we have the feelings, we have sensations. The past is here now, the future is here now. Everything we have ever heard, even if we have not personally heard about it, but we can imagine the knowing, the knowledge that has been accomplished, it's all happening here and now inside of us in the form of ideas, in the form of thinking, stories, things that we contain already internally. Just for one instant, take ourselves a little bit of time and see how this is to contain so much. We think we're missing something. Most of people believe that we're missing something, and that makes them unhappy. So they're striving for something that they apparently don't have. They don't see that's already here. Okay, so we are here, including what we have already discovered. Just take an instant and just tracking and just sensing how this is to be here, and including all this that we discovered. It's quite big actually, isn't it? It's much bigger than we actually think we are. We think we're just small and there's so much missing. It's quite big. Let's go further.
all the ideas are here. The ideas about the beach, but the beach is not here.
Okay, so when
then
you
if we go to the
okay,
beach, it seems
fantastic.
different. Now let's just go into that.
Let's go into this. So you said there's an idea of the beach, but the beach is not here. Okay, so if you go to the beach and you have an experience of the beach, is the beach experienced outside of you, or are you actually enjoying the experience internally that you have of the beach? Is it about the beach, that piece of land with a lot of sand and waves coming in? Or is it that this image, the feeling that you have on the beach is actually what you're enjoying? What is it about? I used to take another example. If you buy a car, a brand new car, and you go to the car dealer and pick up the car, most people are pretty happy because they have a new car. So it happened to me. So one day I asked myself, okay, I go to pick up my car, and suddenly I have a feeling of happiness. And I was asking myself, where does that happiness come from? Is it part of the car? So I looked at the car underneath the mats and behind the
Steering wheel,
dashboard, and I was looking if there was luck there. I mean, I really did it. Or within the doors, I was checking if I found luck, and I didn't find luck. I felt lucky inside, but the car didn't contain luck. So I said to myself, if the car can make me happy, because it's a new car, but the car doesn't contain the luck because I didn't find the luck. It was just metal and a lot of plastic and tires and all the technical stuff. What I could see that the way I experienced the car created a feeling of luck inside of me. Independently, if there was luck in the car was not made of luck. It was made of all these ingredients that every car is made of. Yet, internally, it made me happy. So the same with your example of the beach. Is it about the sand, the little sand on the beach and the waves, or is it about the feeling that the beach creates in you? What is it in you?
It's a memory. It's a memory of a time that I was free, or, I thought, okay, finally I escaped what I didn't want. I got out to the beach, I'm on a vacation. And so then
but is it
it's an association
exactly.
inside of me.
So what makes you happy? Is it the beach that makes you happy? Or is it the inner relationship that you have to the beach, because you enjoy beaches, that you have a feeling of awe, of happiness, of relaxation? What is it?
It's inner from, it's amazing that a memory can have such feelings attached to it.
Yes. So yet that memory of the beach is happening now. If you remember the beach now,
exactly,
you have the experience of that beach.
And then I was thinking, okay, back then when I was on the beach, I was free, and the wind smelled really good, and the sun was warm.
Just feel this now. Just feel, and everyone who watches those DVDs can just take any experience that made them happy, that was pleasant. You don't have to go there again. You don't have to even drive there or travel there again. Just remember it here and now, and just noticing if you start to get in contact with the experience that you had maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago, if that experience is still alive in you in the form of ideas, images, cellular memory, just tracking it and noticing that the experience of the beach or the car, whatever it was for you, is still alive in you, here and now. That's what people mostly overlook, that the experience that they're looking for is already happening right now. They think they have to go somewhere to get this experience, or they have to move somewhere or to achieve something to have this experience. But we just have to just feeling it. And the system starts to relax because it was an enjoyable experience.
And because we have that association, then when we go to the beach the next time, we're kind of open to have the same experience. We open ourselves up to be pleased.
Okay, now we're coming to some interesting point. So, as we're here, and we have not finished completely to collect what's all here, so we could go explore this now. But I would prefer to take a little bit of time.
Let's collect.
And to see if anything is not here. Okay, so we have the past, the future, thinking, the feelings, the sensations, the body. So so let's see. Is the body here?
Always.
Okay, the body's here. The body contains the experiences. Through the body, we're experiencing this moment. And what the body itself is an experience to us. Check this. So the whole body is a full embodied experience. Let's check this out, if we can include the body in the here and now, which most people actually don't do. But it's clear, there's a body here, and that body, 80 trillions of cells, that's what they say, functioning in a tremendous intelligent way. The body experiences this moment. Yes, the body's here too. The thinking is here, the feelings are here, the sensations is here, the body is here, the past is here, the ideas are here, the future is here. Okay, what else?
So openness and closedness, because we're open to the beach and we're closed to the police station or something like that.
Okay, let's check out what this opening is, what that feeling of openness and the feeling of closing is. Where do you feel opening? If you speak about, I'm open, what is the actual experience that you would refer as openness?
Somehow open is all over, like it's relaxing and it just
Yes.
feels good everywhere,
Exactly. So this,
Closedness might just feel like at one
exactly.
spot,
So
and
what?
just knotted up.
Exactly. So what openness and closeness is basically a focus of our attention. So when our focus is very narrow, the body tightens up, and it feels like the whole system closes down, and we're not seeing much. It's just like a very narrow focus. And when we're having a wide open focus, the body starts to open up, and we have this feeling, this experience of openness that we could welcome everything, isn't it? So this experience of opening and closing, when is it happening? If it is happening?
That's here and now too.
It's also happening
that's
here
part
and
of the
now.
collection we're collecting.
Exactly. So the opening and the closing is an experience that you can only experience now. And the way you're experiencing this is by a certain focus.
Okay, well, let's just say the focus is always here now too.
Yes. So what is the focus?
Capacity to focus.
Yes. So here we are. Now we're coming to we're getting a little deeper. So we're still collecting, okay? Everybody who's watching the DVDs, we are still collecting what we're dealing with. And we're just still looking if there's anything that is not here now. So now we're coming to the focus. So what exactly do we mean by focus? What we mean by focus is the way our attention moves. Attention. Attention is like a kind of capacity to identify objects, to identify the experience of now. So we can give attention to each other. Let's do this for an instant. And by giving you attention, I recognize, Richard is in front of me. Then I can let the attention move to the sound outside of the house. I feel like a little noise there. And I become aware of there's a noise. Then I can shift my attention to my feet. Feel the feet on the ground. How they touch the soil, the ground. And then I can shift my attention to the thinking. I watch my thinking. So, what is my thinking? Okay, look at my thinking. Like this. Then I can shift my attention to my belly. And by shifting my attention, which is a movement, I become aware of whatever is showing up in the focus of my attention. Can we agree on this?
One thing that seems to be clear is that the attention during waking hours is always on. And there's no.
Let's check this out. Let's check this out. We have to distinguish something. So first of all, let's stay with the attention. So the movement of attention is here and now.
It's here and now.
Can attention be outside of the here and now, or is the movement of attention wherever we look at, whatever we pay attention to, it is always happening now?
Right.
Can we agree on this?
Right.
Fantastic. So in the here and now, also the movement of attention is included.
Right.
There's always attention here. So in the waking state, the attention is moving around, and when we sleep, the attention rests. That's why we enjoy sleeping so much.
Right. Is it worthwhile to say that attention, in a way, you can move it? It seems somewhat volitional, but in another way, it seems to have its own. It goes where it wants to. 99% of the times.
Let's not look at where the attention goes now. We are still looking at the movement of attention. That there is movement. There's something
it moves,
that we call attention that is happening in the here and now.
But up till now, we just gave examples when we think of our feet, when I think of the noises outside. That seems like we're tying volition with attention, but it's not always volitional.
No, it's not always volition. It's just like there's a capacity. Attention is the capacity to identify, to detect experience, and to become aware of parts of reality, of aspects of reality. By moving our attention somewhere, we become aware of it. If you don't pay attention to something, are you aware of it?
I would say no.
No. So whatever is not within the focus of our attention, it's not existing for us. In this moment, when we're not paying attention to something, it's just not existing. It just, in the moment it shows up in the focus of our attention, we become aware of it. That's it. It's interesting.
That's it.
It's very interesting. So again, get this. This is very, very interesting. As long as we give attention to something, we are aware of it. Whatever is included in the focus of our attention exists for us. What we do not include in the focus of our attention is, in the moment we're experiencing something, not existing. It's just not exist. Just when it comes back into the focus, oh yes, of course it was there. So far, 100%, as we were speaking, you didn't pay attention to your partner. Just now,
right.
Yes,
but so definitely.
Did she exist for you in the last minute?
No, more than a minute. I think since the beginning of the DVD, she didn't exist. Crossed my mind.
So she didn't cross your mind. She was not there. So now, in the moment I was asking you that question, or pointed there, your attention suddenly moved to her, even only in turn. Oh, yes, of course, I have a wife.
Right.
And she showed up in you.
Right.
Up to this point, she didn't exist for you. So in the moment I pointed there, she became alive. She started to exist again for you. Interesting. That through the way of our attention functions, we create a sense of life. So the more narrow our focus is, the less we include. It's like a tube.
Right.
It's like a lens. So if the focus is very tight, we don't see much. We only see what's right in front of us, what's right in front of our attention, and everything else is basically not existing until we give it attention. Suddenly it's there. Then there are different qualities of attention. So this is a tight quality of attention. And then there's a wider focus. Okay, when we just relax a little bit, our focus relaxes, we start to see a little more. So we can hear, and again, let's explore this. We're here. We can just relax the attention a little bit and see if it naturally, suddenly includes a little more. So we're here, the thinking is included, and the feelings are included. Sensations are included, the body is included. We can even stretch it a little more so that the room is included. So if we just relax the attention a little bit, like a muscle that's usually held tight, and we just can now relax it. So see, if in the focus of our attention right now, a little more is included than usually when we would have paid just attention to each other.
Right.
So
we don't need to make any judgment on that, right?
No. It's
like
just
better, worse,
no.
This is more spiritual,
exactly. We'll come to this later.
I just want to say one thing about attention that somewhat I was thinking like it just takes in our sensory impressions, but it's more than that, because dreams and thoughts are not really part of this exterior world or interior explorations, and your attention can just go inside too.
Exactly. So now we can take attention as a focus and turn it inside. Let's do this. Just focusing inside onto a sensation that we...
Sensations are, again, your sensory perceptions, but your thoughts and dreams and fears, maybe.
But as long as you don't pay attention to a certain sensation, the sensation doesn't exist for you.
Right.
So as we're here, you didn't pay attention to your belly. Now, as I said, just using the word belly, automatically your attention shifts there. Now you become aware. There's my belly. Now the attention is inside. And we together start to explore how our belly feels. Before I was mentioning it, there was almost no consciousness about that there was a feeling in the belly, because it was not included in the focus of attention. Interesting, huh?
Right.
So and we were speaking about one of the most powerful tools, capacities a human being has, which is attention. So interesting.
Well, without it,
okay, so
like you said, we're not
we don't
awake.
even exist. We're not awake. Without attention, the system wouldn't be able to identify one object from another. It would not be able to actually detect experience happening. It wouldn't be able to detect that there's something called life happening. Attention,
even I am. It wouldn't be able to say I exist, right?
Exactly. We would not even be able to speak that we are here, or that anything is happening. So attention is what makes us conscious of what's in front of us and what's happening inside of us. And let's check this out. Most people are not aware of this. And we're using attention all day long, mostly unconsciously. Now we're coming to something.
It's like attention is using us,
Exactly. So
as
now,
a host.
as a host, exactly, because we're not aware of it. So let's go slow. So now the attention is here. And what attention is different focuses. That's all what attention is. A different focus, like a different lens, like this.
Right.
That's what attention is. So now let's also include the senses, because we were speaking about the senses before. So there's the eyes, and there's the hearing, and the tasting, and the touching, and the smelling. So the 5 senses. So now just include the 5 senses in the focus of your attention. So just giving them some attention, because mostly our senses are functioning so habitually that we don't pay attention to them. They said, well, they're functioning.
Well, we pay attention to the content of our senses.
Yes, but not to the senses, not to the functioning of the senses. But the senses are also here, aren't they? The seeing happens here now.
Right.
The listening, smelling, touching, the tasting. So the 5 senses are also here. So we have the thinking, feeling, the sensations, the past, the future, the 5 senses, the body, and attention. All is happening here now. There's nothing that is not happening here now. We're not all the way done. We're still missing one. Well, we're coming to this, which is the clue. So first of all, everything is happening here now. And specifically, depending on the focus of our attention, we're aware of this or we're not aware of it. Because we said the different focuses either exclude part of the experience of now or include more of the experience of now. It's depend on the focus. Can we agree on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So attention is a very, very, very important aspect in it. But we're not all the way done because, as you said accurately, our attention moves habitually. So as long as we're not aware of how our attention functions, there's almost nothing we can do. It just jumps like a monkey from one object to the other randomly, or according to our interest. It just will jump there and here. So what we usually pay attention to what we're interested in, and what we're not interested in, we're not paying attention to.
Exactly. Interest seems to be a key.
So interest is a tremendous important aspect of how our attention moves. Interest.
Well, one of the number one interests is self-preservation. So a loud noise, or
exactly. So
if there's a siren or a crash, or
the core interest of the system is to stay alive.
So if there's a pain, if we're being burnt or something, there's something too hot there, and we pull away, our attention will immediately go to those things.
Exactly. So that's
thank God, actually,
that's deeply rooted, that the system is taking care of itself and uses attention to avoid pain and to take care that we have as much pleasant experiences so that the body feels safe and can keep going what it wants to do. So that is basically survival. But we're not all the way done now. So,
well, no, that's just the one of the more powerful.
So there's interest here.
We could call that an interest, or that's just even before interest, because if we step on a thorn or something like that, right away, our attention goes right there and we jerk back.
Exactly. We just, like a reflex, moves back, and our whole system is reorganizing so that the pain is not killing us, basically. It doesn't destroy us. Yet, let's again take a break, because we're still collecting.
Right.
Like I said, we have attention. So now we're coming to the most important recognition on the level of the basics. So far, we were speaking about experiences. Thinking is an experience. Feelings is an experience. The sensations is an experience. Our experiences. The body is an experience. The past is an experience as memory. The future is an experience as ideas. And also the movement of our attention. Moving from one object to the other is an experience. Can we agree with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just experience.
Yes.
So experience is like a kind of summary, like a word that summarizes everything that we were collecting so far. We could call it the human experience.
Right, all our experiences.
Okay. All our experiences are made of thinking, feelings, sensations, ideas, a movement of attention, different focuses, and especially a multisensory experience in our body. That's a human experience.
So then
Let's
it
stay
just
with
follows
this.
that experiences are always here and now.
Exactly. There's not one experience that is not happening here and now, and it can never happen outside of the here and now. So that's absolutely important. There's not one experience that is not happening now, and is only happening now. An experience can never happen yesterday, and it will not be able to happen tomorrow because it is only happening now. And now, and now, and now, infinitely now. So experience itself is locked into the moment.
Right.
There's no exit to this moment for experience. The experience cannot get out of it. So now...
Now let me just say this, though,
Yes.
because like,
Yes.
in a way, an old experience or a memory of an experience can elicit a new similar experience, or it makes a reflection. In other words, we reminisce about the past because we felt so good then, and then we're feeling good right now. So that,
So
of course,
that means
it's now, but I mean, somehow
now.
there's a power of the reminiscence
But are you
to evoke the experience in the now again.
That could be. But anyway, the experience is happening now. It
Right.
has not. We think it comes from the past.
Yeah.
But it is even the whole process of memory, whatever happens in the nervous system and in the brain cells in the moment of memory, all this that we are mostly not aware of in the physics is happening now. So what exactly produces the experience of now? We don't know. We think it's the past or the memory of the past, but I mean, there are so many processes happening in our body in the moment of remembering something that all we know is that the outcome of it is an experience that feels similar to the one that we may have had already. But what exactly produces that feeling? We don't know. We can only say it's a multisensory experience of now that is somehow projected to something that we believe is the source of it. So we could put it on the past, we could put it on an image, but we have to project it. We have to project the source, the cause for our experience onto something to understand or to at least have an idea of where it comes from. If we're not projecting, where does the experience of now comes from? If we not put it somewhere, can we say where the experience of now comes from? We're not projecting it. We're not putting it on anything, not on our memory, not on our knowledge, not on the future, on nothing. We don't even project it onto ourselves.
It just springs up.
It just springs up. It's just showing up, and we don't have a clue where it comes from. Yet, it's happening here now. That's clear. So we have an experience. This experience is always happening here now, and if we're not projecting and looking for the cause of the experience, we don't know where it comes from. It just shows up here. So now, we're still having a missing piece of the puzzle. So we have to check out. So again, we're dealing with an experience, and now, what is it that is aware of that experience? So we have been seeing that their experience is happening, but who or what is it that notices the experience, that enables us to say, oh, I have an experience. I have this experience or that experience. What is it that enables us to notice the experience?
It's kind of like when we started,
Yes.
and we said that nobody ever really, and it's so few people, and during our lives for so long, we have never taken stock of what's here.
Yeah.
And I think that so few people, and for so long, many people have never taken stock that there's something that notices
Yes.
what's happening now. I mean,
So
we
what
just
is
thought
it?
it was built in, or we just
Well,
thought
what
it was
is it? Look, you go on the street, and somebody
somehow.
knocks on your shoulder and say, "Hey, do you notice that you're walking?" Suddenly, you shift your attention to your walking, and you would say normally, "Yes, now I'm aware. I wasn't aware before because I didn't pay attention to it, but now I'm aware." As you ask me, so what is that makes you aware? What is it that makes you identify the simple fact that you are here, that you have an experience, or that you walk on the street? What is it?
Somehow we just want to say that that's being alive, the fact that we notice everything.
Okay,
I
but
mean,
what
we
is
notice
there's
whatever's
life.
in our focus. It's
That's true,
because
there's
we're
life.
alive.
there's life. Life is experience. So another word for...
Life allows us to have a focus and allows us to absorb what's in that focus.
Okay, so there's life, and life shows up as experience. Life and experience
it shows up as experience.
Life and experience is just a synonym. Life is an ongoing process of experience from moment to moment to moment to moment. So
life is probably coming before experience, because even when we're not experiencing, well, I don't know.
Okay, so
we
but
could still say life is there.
Okay, there's life happening here. Now we can notice there's energy streaming through our bodies. There's a little heat. There's thinking, feeling, sensations, focus. All of this we could call life or experience. Yet, who is aware of it? Just take yourself an instant. Who is aware of the experience of now? We're here. There's here-ness. I'm here. But what is it that is aware of that I'm here? What is that enables me to say that I'm here? That lets me sense it, that lets me noticing it. What is it?
See, I'm really hesitant to make up another word, and
Okay,
say, okay, let's give it a word, and maybe it's separate or not separate, I mean, or it's another word. It makes it
okay. Let's use it. Let's use a word to address it.
I mean, the word everyone uses is consciousness, or
okay. So there's awareness here.
Awareness or something like that.
Okay, fantastic. Let's stay with that.
So, but I mean, maybe we can just fold that into life. I mean, everything that's alive is somehow aware.
Let's make it simple.
Somehow conscious.
Then let's make it simple and see that there's something here that is aware. Prior to the experience that is happening now, there's something that is noticing that experience. That you just get in touch with this. It is that which we constantly overlook, that we're already aware of the experience. There's something that notices the experience of now. Fantastic. Just noticing this.
It's so built into all of life, because even an amoeba is aware, because an amoeba is moving toward, okay, it lives in a liquid. Maybe if it gets dry, it turns around and moves the other way, or it moves toward nourishment.
That's true.
It moves toward nourishment. It can realize where nourishment is and where non-nourishment is.
Okay, that is an impulse. That is an automatic
But
movement.
it's an awareness, isn't it?
So
I mean, it can recognize and
who
distinguish
notices
the difference.
Impulse? Look, like your hands doing like this as you speak. Okay?
Right.
So who's that, or what is that notices the movements? So the amoeba moves to the food, but the amoeba is maybe not aware of that it moves to the food. It's just driven by nature, by life, by an energy, because it wants food. So it looks for the food and
doesn't have a word that says, okay, this is food, so I'll go there.
Okay.
But it definitely goes toward where,
yes.
comfort too, because the temperature's
yes.
right here and the temperature's
But I'm speaking now not about the movement. I'm speaking about that which is aware of the movement.
See, what I don't want us to do is just say, "Oh, it's consciousness," and you'll say, "Oh, yeah, right, it's consciousness."
I'm not just saying it's consciousness.
And then everybody will just have to sit with that word and say, "Oh, that's something."
No.
But did I discover it, or?
Yes, let's discover this. What is it? So let's discover it here now. What is it that is aware of? For example, you don't want only to use a word. Okay, there's a feeling of not wanting to use a word only. That's what you just said.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so that's a feeling in you. Wherever it comes from, there's a feeling, I don't want to only use a word.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a feeling, and it is here.
And I'm aware of that feeling
And now, let's be only aware of the feeling. So not dealing with the feeling now, which is what we usually do. There's an experience, and we start to deal with the experience. So I'm not asking you now to deal with that not wanting to only use a word, but stay with the awareness. Just noticing that there's an automatic reflex in you of not wanting to deal only with a word and giving people only a word. So just be aware of this. So we're only aware of that automatic response. Just noticing it. Nothing to fix, nothing to change. There's only a recognition. And everybody who now listens to the video may have a different response. Your response was, I don't want to give them only a word. Another person may say, I don't believe what he speaks, or, oh yes, it's true. Whatever response you're having right now, my invitation is just be aware of it now. Don't move with the
No,
response.
I understand.
Okay,
I get
fantastic.
it.
How is that? That very good.
Fantastic. It is
Fantastic.
fantastic because there's like an anxiety saying, I just don't want to do this. And there's a knot, and the focus is going down on that
Yes.
knot, And when you
Okay.
say, okay, well, just be aware of
Just being aware,
that you're
that makes
not,
a huge difference now.
it's a huge difference.
Okay, so now let's explore the difference of moving with the experience, which people call identification, which means we're moving from an automatic response with the experience and don't even noticing this, or we suddenly become aware of the experience, which enables us to not move with the experience habitually.
You said something really powerful because you said that identification is moving with an experience.
Yes.
And I always thought it was believing that that's me.
No.
And I didn't believe that...
Identification happens in the moment our system moves with the automatic response, with the experience.
That's a big breakthrough because, I wanted to say that identification was believing that movement was me, but I didn't believe it was me, but I was moving with it anyhow.
But in the moment you move, the moment the habit is to move with the experience, it creates the sense of me. Suddenly it feels like me.
That's a real key point for me.
Yes, that is the key point.
The moment you said that, boom, I went like, whoa.
Okay, just feel this. I can feel it in your nervous system now. Just feel that there's something dropping, that we're not dealing with the me, that all what we're dealing with it is a habit to move with the experience. That's all we're dealing with.
That's amazing. That's really...
It's like a horseback rider jumping on a horseback and is carried away by the horse and loses control over the horse. Okay, fantastic. Just feel this, what's happening now. Because this is huge what's happening in our nervous system now. You can feel it now in the change of our experience when we're just aware of the experience, not moving with it. Not even labeling it. Oh, just noticing this. Any shifting. Hey, I'm aware. I'm already aware. I just didn't know that I have the opportunity not to move with my experience. That's
absolutely. No, it's a whole new chapter in life.
Yes.
I mean, like this opens a
completely new life.
A completely new life.
It doesn't
mean just don't move and freeze up, but it just means move.
I don't have to respond habitually
when you want
anymore.
to move, but don't move when something else is moving you.
Exactly. So just
some conditioning is moving you, basically. Something.
Some people call this moment freedom because you can move with the experience, but you can also not move with the experience. So far, there was no option. The experience picks up, even though there is a recognition. Normally, the experience takes you and moves you, or moves us. What it actually does, it pulls our attention, and the attention becomes one with the experience, and it feels like we're carried away, and we lose any sense of being here, any sense of ease, and we're just running.
Oh, wow.
We become the movement.
Just seems like that's such a big point that just kind of dropped in, I mean, like, I don't even realize how big it is.
Yes, but I can feel it in our systems now as we're exploring. We can feel that something is relaxing, that there is no need, and there's an opportunity, an option for us not to move, that we can rest, even though
we can just watch.
We can be aware, we can notice. I call it noticing. And here we are, as a noticing of movement. And we are consciousness. We are the awareness of it. That's already what we are. This fact is what almost every human being overlooks, that we are the awareness of a movement, but we are not the movement. So in the moment we are the awareness of the movement, we are free of the need, of the habit, of the automatic, unquestioned habit to move with the experience and to become one with it, and we do not even know where we're ending up, because the experience just moves on. It just moves, and it keeps us moving for the rest of our life. And we never know where we're going to end up. Quite amazing.
You know what I want to say is that so much in my life there was maybe a misidentification that equated being moved by life in this automatic way as an intensity that makes life better.
Yes.
you know. And so there was actually a praise of of these moments when I
Yes.
was moved, and I
Yes.
was, you know, actually giving homage to those moments and saying, now I'm living an intense life, and
Yes.
and I'm living fully, and really it's more like I was living blindly, or
Exactly. As
you know.
long the moment we move habitually with the experience, we become unconscious because our attention now is completely absorbed in the experience, and we don't pay attention anymore to the fact that we are already aware. That shift of attention to the
Right.
experience takes us away, and we're just on the run. We're on a mission.
Right, I was on a mission there, because then I believed in myself. Well, no,
Yes.
I came up with this idea that just saying consciousness, I don't want to do that.
Yes.
And I totally believed that, you know,
Exactly.
like unconsciously, like I didn't really realize
Exactly.
it was a belief. I just thought
Exactly.
it was an important fact, you know.
Exactly. And it was an automatic response. And now, as you're seeing this and you're aware of this, you don't have to move with this.
And the fact that I was acting it out, I thought was really cool, that really good, that I was really a vibrant person, you
Yes.
know, and really into the flow of life. But
Yes.
really, it was just that I was being swept away.
Because why we are going with the movements, and you really beautifully just described it, is that when an experience picks up and takes us and uses us and makes us move, it feels like that we are alive,
Exactly.
because we don't know any other form of being alive. But what it actually is, it is that that it's not that we are alive, it is that the experience generates sensations, more sensations on itself, and accelerates itself. So it's like our whole being becomes the experience, and we're losing any sense of who we really are, of the fact that we are here. So now, as you're not moving with the automatic response, just feel in your nervous system how your nervous system feels differently alive. Because for me, you're very alive now, but there's a different quality of aliveness. Just check this out. How would you describe? And just speak from the experience that the body generates now in not moving with the experience. See if it feels alive. It is a different form of life. It's an aliveness that is not bound on activity. Because most of our
Yeah, it's hard for me to reach that and touch that. But what first is in my mind is that there's a huge amount of options.
Yes.
I mean, it's like it's a very centered state where there's every option is still
Yes.
intact, you know.
Exactly.
Whereas the old method, all options were closed except one.
Exactly. Once the focus moves to the experience and we become the experience, we have only one option: to go with the experience, to act it out until it's finished.
Right.
Some people act it out for all their life, and only at the Judgment Day they realize that one experience, one idea has moved them, and they didn't see anything else. So now we see, from being consciousness, from being aware of the automatic response, in this very instant, possibilities show up, options show up simultaneously in one instant that have never been seen before. Even this we're just aware of. We don't even have to move with all the options. We have options, but we don't have to move with the options. It's just like this. Suddenly the whole table is set. That which was just one option now is trillions, billions, innumerable options. Potential. I call it potential, possibilities. So now we're here.
I'd like to say some more, you know, like to really emphasize that the fact that I think so many people, and me for so long, really praised being carried away by something, and just thought, okay, now in the intensity, and people that live intense lives, maybe lives of crime, or lives where they're right on the edge all the time, or lives of extreme sport, you know, they're acting something out because really they have to, you know, their life is on the line.
They don't know anything else.
They put themselves in those situations again and again.
But look, so now
and they say that's excitement, and
let's
you know.
check this out. Let's check this out. So we found out there's an automatic response. Like you before, I don't want to use the word awareness just like this. Okay, I think it was about like this.
Yeah.
So that was an automatic response, wherever it came from. Okay, if you don't project it onto anything, it was suddenly was there.
Know, it grew up a little.
It
by
grew
little.
up.
At first, I didn't want to move,
okay.
and I just got real.
It grew up,
still,
and it made you move.
And then I thought, well, why am I so still? And I just didn't want.
Okay, so it grew up and it made you move. So did you had unless until the moment you became aware of it, did you had any option not to move with it? You saw the growing, suddenly it grew up, it took you, and it made you speak. Was there an option until you became aware of it? Did you have any option not to move with it?
Until you actually mentioned it and asked me what was up. I mean, yeah, there was certain options of how to handle it, but I was definitely going to handle that.
Okay, fantastic. So there was no options. So the movement was there.
There was a very small amount of options, but it was
always focused within the experience.
That realm,
exactly.
Within trying to say, like,
a
how
little
can we make it
alternations.
real? How can we make that real?
Okay, fantastic. So now it's very, 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 very valuable to understand this. So there's an automatic reaction, and unless we're aware of it, there's nothing we can do about it. So even this process of moving with the habit is happening automatically until we become aware of it. So we have an idea that we have a free will, that we can do something, that there's something we can do about it. But as long as something is unconscious or habitual, is a different word for unconscious. Habitual and unconscious is the same. Habitual means it's happening automatic underneath the level of our normal consciousness.
Right, we just haven't thought of it yet.
We didn't pay attention to it, so it's all happening. So again, as we are not aware of it, do we have any option not to move with it? We don't have it.
No way.
There's no option for us.
No way. I don't know, by accident.
We are completely, in other words spoken, even within the habits and moving with the experience.
The tendency is going to be there, Someone could drag you out of it and some accident could happen.
But then it comes from the outside. But as long as we're not aware of it.
Basically, there's that tendency is really strong
There's a habit. The habit takes us, pulls our attention to the experience, we become one with the experience, and we move with the experience. And unless we are aware of it.
Let's say this
nothing. Let me finish.
Okay,
there's
please.
Nothing we can do about it. So what does that mean? Let's really go slow here, Richard.
I want to say one thing, though.
What does it mean? Again, noticing your responses.
Yeah.
Okay. The brrr, just noticing there's an automatic response. So you can go with the automatic response, interfere and needing to say what you want to say, or just connect with the awareness of it. Okay. There's again this urge to say something. Okay. Nothing wrong about it. We may speak about it in 1-2 minutes, but first, become aware of this automatic response and see if you can not move with the experience. You can move with the experience, you're free now, but you can also just, hey, why? I can also wait another 2 minutes. Okay, here's awareness of, I need to say this. And we're here. And see how this feels in you, how it affects the focus and the options that suddenly show up. Even you want to say something, no problem. Very good. How does it feel? Or how is that experience when you just, again, connect with the awareness? Hey, well, I'm aware of this. There's an automatic habit like this, like, and if I wouldn't say anything, would have said anything, you would have just moved with the experience, and it doesn't matter. Once we're moving with the experience, it's like a bulldozer. We have to do it. It feels like there's no other way. We have to do it now.
That's what I wanted to say, actually. Let's say you remain unconscious of an automatic reaction, of an automatic reaction to some kind of a stimuli.
Yeah.
And if for some reason you're held away from that, there's also an associated feeling that builds and builds and builds. Like it's a feeling of some kind of stress. Like I really need to do this now. I really need to do this. This stress feel.
But what is that stress feeling? What it actually is? It's a narrow focus. So there are all options. There was space, and suddenly this idea of I need to say this comes up. The focus moves there, and within fragments of a second, all options are reduced down to only one option. I need to say this, and I'm going to say this, and it doesn't matter what it costs me. I will say this.
Yeah, because there was a stress inside that was building.
But now not see though that narrow focus. See if you see a relationship between the narrow focus and the building up of the feeling of stress. Just noticing as the focus is wide, which is we're just conscious of what's ever happening right now. Just include this feeling of stress, but don't move with the stress. Okay, there's a little agitation in the nervous system. what you call stress is a little leap, a little discomfort, a little. Okay, just feel this. You're just aware of it. That is not stress yet. That is just a little agitation. The stress becomes the experience becomes stress when the attention moves there habitually, focuses on it, and tightens the system up. Then it's like there's from that moment on, there's no other option for you than I need to say it now at any cost. That is where the stress clicks in. So this is just now, when we're aware of it, there's only sensations in the body actually. Huh? It's a little, like almost electricity.
Yeah, it's
little tightness in the chest. Just there's a recognition of experience that is happening now. If we're not projecting it onto anything in the outside or inside, we don't.
Now, what do you mean when you say we're not projecting it?
That means we're not looking for the cause.
All right.
We're not looking for any cause where it comes from. We're just noticing it. Hey, there's suddenly my system responses. That is what we're not aware of. We don't get this point where the system is just, funny enough, we have a little discomfort. What we usually do, we start to feel something, the mind clicks in and tries to find the cause of it.
Exactly. No, because I wasn't sure what you meant.
Which is already moving with the experience.
No, it is, right.
And we're gone.
Searching for the cause.
We're searching for the cause, and we're losing track with the option of being awareness. We're losing connection.
Absolutely. Searching for the cause is always losing the connection.
We're losing connection with who we are. The moment you look for this cause of your experience, you already disconnect from who you are. Because we were speaking initially, what we're all looking for is connection. We want to stay connected. But the first disconnection that is happening when our system habitually moves from resting, from ease, towards the experience, moves with the experience and tries to find the cause of the experience. Thinking, believing all kinds of stuff, all kinds of models, explanations, and more and more disconnecting from who we really are, which is basically consciousness that has all options. We could also not move with it, but this option is not available to us anymore the moment it clicks in.
Right.
So here we are.
No, that's important because that's so automatic.
Look,
searching for the cause is always happening. Every time there's a discomfort.
Yes.
Searching for the cause is, and you're saying that searching for the cause is a disconnection from the discomfort.
Yes.
So every time there's a discomfort,
we move away.
We want to disconnect, and we do it by searching for the cause.
But also when there's a comfort, when we like something very much,
we might
and we want to have it, same. We move with the experience, and we're going there trying to get the experience, and we disconnect also from who we are. It is not only on the discomfortable side; it's also on the side of comfort. If we want to have something badly, it's happening the same. We don't have an option. We said, if I want this, I'm going to get this. And the focus gets tight, and there is no option for us to let go of it until somebody reminds us, or we have it and see it didn't make us happy.
It's amazing because with the discomfort, it happens like instantaneously. Yes. With the comfort, now this is really something to recognize that sometimes it happens within 2, 3, 4 seconds,
In instants?
It could be instants, but how long can you allow yourself to have comfort? How long can you look at a beautiful sunset and say, where's my camera? Where's my camera?
Exactly.
I've got to get this for later.
That's it. So this is, look, there's an experience of now, which is the senses perceive a nice sunset. And there's the automatic reaction of your system trying to take a camera.
Trying to get away from it.
And in that moment, if you follow that response, if you follow the reaction, you lose connection with yourself. You disconnect from the sunset. You disconnect from yourself. You don't even experiencing it anymore because now you're in the mode.
Now you're in your bag, digging
your
out
bag
your camera.
and trying to get the camera, making a picture. So
and then you make an excuse that says sunsets are only good if your wife is here, but I'm going to show it to her on the picture.
Exactly. So just noticing this moment of disconnection when we lose contact with who we are, which is consciousness, awareness. That, and again, it's a word that we're using that it's just became a little bit overloaded with meaning, but what it is, we don't know exactly what it is. We only know that there's something here that is noticing the automatic responses. To make it easy, we could call it awareness, but we don't actually know what it is. Yet, we know that it is. So disconnect again with, hey, I'm here. There's an experience happening. In that experience, automatic responses are included. All the automatic responses are also experiences only. So there's experience. The response is an experience on top of the experience. And then it just builds up.
Then the moving away is an experience on top of
And
that.
the moving away is an experience itself.
And it seems like there's always a moving away, sooner or later.
Sooner or later, unless...
How long can you take it?
Unless we know that we are awareness. So the recognition of who you really are, which is consciousness, that which is prior to any experience, including the responses and the going with the responses and the reflexes. As long as you have never discovered this, not even for one instant, there is no option for you then moving with the experience. There is no other option than becoming completely identified with the experience. So that's why this moment of realization, who you really are, which is you are already aware, is a quantum leap in the evolution of human maturity. Because in this moment, options show up, possibilities show up that have not been accessible to us at all.
These are the key points,
That is
the
key
moving
point.
away is the key point. You can say, I know this, and then if you're just carried away on some kind of an impulse, that's the key point where everybody's looking for that key point.
That is the key point. So
what do I do when I lose track, and then 2 hours later
exactly.
I come back?
What we usually do is, when we see that there are habits playing out, we create an image of another habit. So we try to discipline ourselves. But what is it? A discipline is a narrow focus that now tries to control another narrow focus. So the narrow focus is my idea of how I should be or how I should behave, which is just an idea, which is an experience. That looks now at the automatic responses and tries to control it, which people call discipline or self-control and everything.
Or practice or something.
And practice. What it actually does, it just creates another layer of experience on top of it, and it becomes an even tighter movement.
So it's like another way of disconnecting.
It's another way of disconnecting from the initial experience. And the price is there's no freedom. There's not one sense of freedom in it. And we're losing, again, there's no connection and there's no freedom in it. So freedom only comes, or options, another word for freedom is that options show up, possibilities show up that haven't been there before. Space, a space in which those options are suddenly accessible to us, in the moment that we realize, wait a second, there is a response, there are ideas, there are reflexes, there's a tendency to move with the experience that we could call identification, but I am the awareness of it. So now again, let's connect with this, and it's just a shift of your attention. All we're playing with is again, it's a shift of our attention that is now not looking at the experience anymore, but is just somehow turned around and becomes aware. So the focus, attention becomes aware of awareness, that we are actually aware already. This is what is not included in the normal focus of our attention. We're not aware that we are aware. We're not paying attention to the simple fact that we already are aware of this moment, and that we don't need to move with the experience. We don't need to. Nothing in the universe has the power to make us move once we are awareness, or recognizing ourselves as awareness.
That's a big statement. Nothing in the universe
has the power.
Because we've always moved away, and then that's the moment that we've always searched for, and says, well, how does it happen that I just lose contact? Because we can be in a meditation or in a group that's very peaceful, and we can say, okay, now I feel that awareness, but the moment I walk out of here,
and all that it is, that the attention shifts back to the experience and starts to move with the experience, and we're losing ourselves again in the experience until we realize, oops, we wake up again.
I really feel empowered by what you've said, by the fact that you've really pointed right where that point is that movement away, and also given the example of just when I had an objection to a word, a simple thing that
automatic response.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with a confrontation or any kind of hard life or any kind of upbringing or what my parents did to me or zero. It's just a simple word I didn't like for some reason.
And even the disliking was not in your hands. Somehow the system produced a sense of dislike.
Yeah.
Made you move. and you found yourself reacting even though you didn't know where it came from. And the moment you realized it, the moment you became aware of that, you are aware of it already, that there's nothing you could let go of it. So that moment of realization that you are awareness is automatically letting go of the necessity to move with the experience. Some people call it disidentification. You let it go in this moment. You cannot let it go.
And then it's so great what you said, that the freedom is just options. And you can just see that there's options there. I said it even myself before you said that, you know, there's options.
Freedom is only, all possibilities are there now.
And I love that because like none are cut out. It doesn't mean you can't move with something. You can move. You still can move.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is said in a way that everybody can understand. Everyone on the street, anyone can understand it. It has nothing to do with
not spiritual freedom.
The only word we ever said was consciousness, and you made an apology for that, saying, well, we don't really know what it is at all. You know, let's just hook a word, awareness or consciousness or something onto it so we can
but now
so
the
we
same.
can speak it again.
So here, now we have positive reactions in your system. So just noticing there's agitation because you're excited. Or it's not you excited, it's the system starts to, because it's exciting, you know. In that moment of freedom, there's a lot of freedom and excitement happening in that moment of realization. And at the same time, it doesn't stop. Now there's sensations happening in the system, excitement. And again, we either move with the experience. Now it's positive experiences.
Yeah, it feels like the door's thrown open on freedom. Now I see it.
Or, again, we're aware here. So even the enthusiasm that your system generates is an experience. We don't know where it comes from. It's just an experience. Now you have, again, either you move with the experience and then you become enthusiasm, which is identification. And it will carry you away and you will just be excited. Or, here we are, I'm consciousness. There's awareness of the excitement. And let the excitement be here and see if you still have options. So even the excitement is only one option. There's no need to become excited. To be excited about it is one option. Of innumerable other options, for me, for example, it's very easy for me. You know, it's not sensational. I said, wow, I have options. I can drink a cup of tea. I can watch a movie now. I can be enthusiastic about it. I can take a nap. None of this is better or worse, but it doesn't mean anything. So when people realize this, it often means a lot. They think now they have options, it's freedom, and suddenly this becomes a new meaning. But what they're actually doing, they're moving with a new experience instead of resting.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Because even last year, you know, we talked about enthusiasm. It's one of the old videos, right?
Yeah.
And so then my eyes were open to that, you know, but I sat with it for a whole year too.
Yes.
I've sat with that for a whole year and really
can see that,
knowing, you know, but somehow just this moment, 1 hour ago or just now, it's taken on a new meaning.
It can just be here. Just be conscious even of the excitement. Be conscious of the freedom without moving with the freedom. Then you're really free. Then you're free of freedom.
Then you're free of freedom.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. Then you are free of even options. Then you are. You are with the freedom and with the non-freedom. You're conscious of habits going with the pain or with the pleasure, which is quite a big.
It feels really big and it feels really clear too. It feels like, you know, this is
we don't
clear.
Make a thing
There's no
out
question
of it.
about it.
We don't turn it into a thing. We don't turn it into another position, because otherwise what has happened also in the spiritual world, that freedom and this feeling of being awareness became a new position. But that people, when they turned it into an experience and moved with that experience instead of being the space.
They moved. Right.
And it's the same movement.
It's so cool.
It's then identification. Then you identify.
I never knew what identification meant.
Yes. Moving with the experience.
Just moving unconsciously.
Unconsciously moving with the experience. That's identification.
Yeah. I heard it in word a million times and I never really knew what it is.
Yeah. Now you're seeing it for yourself. And as we're seeing it, people can see this.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter in where we're going. It can go going down to pain. It can going down to the most liberating experience. The moment we move with the experience, we already disconnect again. We lose connection with who we really are, which is this, whatever this is, call it awareness, consciousness, this, being, just being here, noticing, being awake. And we
so it's not only it's disembodying too, all that grounding that you already talked about. Like I've never really understood it.
But now
I thought I did.
Yeah. But now you funny enough, as we're speaking, you're staying in your body. It's quite amazing.
Because I got the key just popped.
Yeah.
Or one of them anyhow. I don't know what.
Yes. Just noticing how the whole nervous system, the entire system in the body started to relax. And funny enough, in that relaxation becomes alive. It's not aliveness through motion. It's being alive. It's not making aliveness, because through action, through moving with the experience, we're making aliveness.
Yeah, aliveness has always been pumping.
It's pumped up. It's a bit pumped up, and this is being alive. I call it being alive. The whole system.
This is just what's here.
It's what's here.
And I've always taken what you've said and moved with it.
Yes.
And so then I would just disconnect again, and I wouldn't really get the feeling of it.
Yes, because the moment we disconnect, we can't feel it anymore.
Yeah, we're disconnected.
It is already conceptual.
We're out.
We're already out, and it's already conceptual.
Right.
We only remember it, and we speak conceptually, and for many people it has happened. So this is quite different.
And again and again and again.
And again and again.
Always on a different level and more fine, and then you just move with that, yes. And then you're gone again, on a finer level. But
exactly.
It's exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same mechanism. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the mechanism. It only has changed the experience you were moving with, but it never changed the actual moving with it.
Yeah. And so when we have this experience, we think that we have to do something to get it.
Yes.
Like we have to be quiet.
Yes.
Or like we have to be with special people.
Just shifting your attention and noticing that you're already aware. Which is any time it happens, you wake up. It's a new waking up from moving with an experience to being the space for the experience, or being the space for all options, without any need to go for one option. You may like to, you may not. This you will see. Be and wish as you like. This is freedom. You can be and wish as you like. There's no need to move, and you can move. But if you move, it's conscious.
Right. Like you can make a second, third, fourth, fifth evaluation.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Wow. Just noticing how this quality is reflected. We could call it peace. Resting.
Yeah, we need to find new words, because peace and resting and all those old
words. I'm so careful with those words, because they're so extremely charged with meaning that they're not. I like to call it simply just ease.
It's like is.
Ease. Isness, easiness, ease.
Yeah. Ease.
And presence. We are just present.
Yeah.
We can meet
even that
now.
Word's overused, like,
Yeah, but there's a presence, and we can connect. There's a kind that our nervous systems, in that non-moving with the experience, our system can connect. Because they can connect, because we stay connected with who we really are.
Yeah. Nature.
With who we are, with awareness. There's consciousness staying connected with itself, and it includes the experience of now, without moving with the experience.
It's so amazing, because every time we're throwing one of these words in and using it, and then I realize, oh yeah, yesterday I thought I knew what that meant, and I had it wrong. And so then I can see the danger in all those words.
Yes. It's so dangerous, especially when we believe that the words mean something.
I mean, it's like it's a placation, you give something to somebody and they think, oh, now I've got it. And that's the movement that doesn't have it. Mm-hmm. And how can you put that into a word? You can. I'm sure you can.
But maybe this is not needed, because once we're starting to explore, and our nervous system, our system becomes so sensitive to actually see the movements. There's a stillness, a natural stillness showing up. It's not a made-up stillness that.
No, it's not made up.
That detects, that just notices the movements.
The key for me is that you told me the point where the escape is,
Yes.
and now I can see. Now I got that in my attention. That point, I always look. I'm looking, and it's only been a minute or a couple of minutes, and that point is there, because always before I jumped over that point, and then I didn't realize. Well, I used to be there, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
And the other misconception that I think that you really mentioned precisely was that you thought that this is aliveness, that
We used to honor that, the
yes.
pumped upness.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'd just go for it,
Yeah.
Try to
it's all
even
we
create
know.
it,
Yes.
or feel like now I've arrived because I'm in this
energetic
flux
yes,
of something's grabbed me and it's making me
it
move.
Was moving with the experience.
Yeah, and now I must be, in really life, but instead I was like a marionette or like.
Yeah. Wow.
It's it's totally different.
Yeah.
People could really be addicted to that.
I mean, they only can become addicted to that if they turn it into an experience and move with the experience.
They're addicted to moving with it, of course.
Yeah, they're addicted to moving with the experience because it's all they know. We don't know who we are. We don't know that awareness is already here. This is who we are. That is prior to everything. And the moment our attention moves there, attention connects with the awareness, and it shifts one option to all options. Not being free to freedom. Being narrow to being space. It's just different wordings that I like to use, but I think everybody
Right, I think we should explore all those wordings.
Yeah, we can.
Because just to say awareness, that one is not going to last very long because people are going to grab that.
That's why I like to, for me, it's what reflects more the actuality is calling it space.
Space and rest and ease
space
and nature.
Space with the capacity to recognize. That's what we are. Space with the capacity to notice the movement of wanting to go with the experience. And that's who we are. We are that space, and that space doesn't need to move. It can move, but it doesn't need to move. And in most cases, funny enough, once we really connect with it, we won't move. We will see that in almost none of the cases where we used to move, we will move again. Because we know it's painful.
It's just not interesting anymore.
It's not interesting. It's painful. It causes confusion. We lose ourselves. We don't find connection. There's always no reason to move.
Well, it's always boring because it's always a repeat.
And it's a repetition of something that has already been happening. And we're trying to alter it. We're trying to change it on the way going down that road, trying to get to a different point that we always got. And we're
always going to get there again.
Always going to end up at the same point. Inevitably, we're going to end up at the same point, which is disappointment.
Disappointment every time.
Emptiness, feeling of disconnection, the feeling of I have lost something, and
to play a role. We're playing an unconscious role. We always get to.
We don't. We're not even playing a role. We are playing the experience. Experience plays us, and we are playing the experience.
So the experience is playing us in
and
a way.
We are becoming the experience, and you could call it a role, but we're actually playing the experience. Instead of being who we are, we're playing the experience. And I like to be who I am instead of playing an experience. No matter what the experience, and even if it is the most beautiful experience, the most promising experience, we're still playing an experience. And that's the trap. And it's also the trap when it feels good, because when it feels good, we are thinking it is a little more true than when it's not feeling good. But it's as untrue as it is as a feeling that is not so good. It has the same value or non-value. It's just not about moving with the experience, no matter what it is. Wow, that really relaxes the system. And we finally make ground contact, because it's very grounding. Because every time we move, we're actually losing ground contact.
No, I can see that.
We're leaving home.
Yeah.
We're leaving what we love the most.
And just as with the attention, right?
Yes.
The attention leaves the ground.
Attention leaves the ground. The focus becomes narrow. We lose contact with this.
So the attention leaves the body.
The attention leaves the body, and then slowly we disembody.
And it goes to the reason,
Yes.
Why did this happen, or how can I fix it,
Exactly.
by going to the cause and effect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is maybe like you're well practiced in moving from this point,
Yeah.
and I'm not. So, like here I'm sitting for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and feeling, and not, I'm not having the temptation to move.
Yeah, so then let's not move. Let's just sit here.
In that sense,
And
but then I want, what comes up is the question, like, when go ahead.
let me make a proposal,
Yeah.
and we can just as we're here. For me, it feels like that we have reached a point in that exploration, in that basic exploration, which is the most basic exploration a human being can do, to have a break. Because what really makes us connect with this is little breaks, to slow down. So, and all the habits of now moving on, just noticing if habits click in to move, we have to keep going even while we're doing the video. So we're here. And maybe we just need a break now and let this sink into the system so that the system can digest and also sense it from the inside out, how it actually feels to live as consciousness, to live as not movement. And then we can proceed. Because I don't want to jump over. Wow. Just noticing how the body reorganizes, how the system sinks into the chair, the feet make ground contact, the focus relaxes. In that relaxation, it loses interest in certain objects. It becomes inclusive. And it's funny enough, it's not spacing out. It's actually arriving to finally make this moment our home. This is our home. Consciousness in the body, making full contact with the earth. This is where we're home. No matter where we are, this is our home. This is who we are. We are home. We are not at home, we are home.
What you say takes on new clarity. And it has a naturalness about it that I would have to call a recognition, because it's not something really new.
Yes. Yeah.
So then I don't feel unstable, or I don't feel like...
There's tremendous stability in it.
I don't feel like, oh my God, I finally got here. What do I do to stay? And I don't feel that at all.
No, you're already here.
Yeah.
In this moment. And it's tremendous empowering and tremendously stable. It's like a trunk of a tree finally finding roots and making big healthy roots into the earth, really growing deep into the earth. It's not flying high and having a spaced out experience. Not at all. This is not true. It's like a big tree finally growing deeply into the earth. And there's nothing to be scared of. We're here already. We can move, we cannot move, whatever we want. We're free. It's not even we are free, there's freedom here. And the possibility to move with the experience or to not move with the experience, because we see it. There's a seeing. Consciousness sees. No.
Yeah, I don't have any temptation to move, and I don't have, and I've always had a reluctance to say the mind is wandering and has putting thoughts on you and so on and so on. I don't feel like anything has any power to do anything. I'm just not tempted to move.
That's it. Nothing. As I said before, nothing in the universe has the power to make me move with an experience. Once I know who I am. Nothing. Even the most blissful experiences cannot make me move. They have no power. Because I don't believe in their promise. That's powerful. That's the real power.
That's really powerful.
That's the power.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, we're always saying that, well, I have to move because I'm conditioned, and I have to move because I'm unconscious, and I have to
This
move
is already moving with the experience.
Right.
Even the explanations is moving with the experience. All the explanations, we already move with the experience. We're leaving home. No need. So, I would say this is a fantastic point to make a break.
All right.
and to digest this, and to invite people to explore this. And then we continue with the next. Great, Richard.
I hope you have really felt what I felt. I mean, to me, this first DVD, this first session has been really, really powerful. And I'm not tempted to move and jump around and say, whoopee, wow, this is fantastic, and I've never thought of this before. And I'm not even tempted to do that because that's just separating.
Yes. It separates you from the direct experience of now.
And I'm feeling that this is a good place to be called home, you know. I hope you feel the same. And, I mean, I can't imagine what we're going to go into in another. This is already everything.
Yes. Great.
So thank you, Florian.
Thank you, Richard.